Yeah, g'day, I'm Shane. I'm from the Defence Division. My main roles here are project management, also site supervision. I'm also in charge of all the GIS collection and data management.
I'm Wayne, also from Defence Division. Shane's right-hand man for most of the projects in Queensland. I'm a UXO technical supervisor and I sideline as the container manager for our deployable containers and looking after the store as well.
So due to the nature of our works and generally the duration, you've got a fairly cohesive team and a bunch of blokes that can live and work and of course play together.
Yeah, most of us know each other from our time in Defence. We've maintained the bonds over the years, and when the company opportunities arise, most of us have jumped over and taken it up.
While bringing people across from Defence, we know that they've worked in that tight-knit environment. We know that it had to be in each other's pockets, and it just makes our life a lot easier. And generally, we've all known each other, as Wayne said, for quite some time.
Small community.
So a typical day for us, we turn up on site, normally have a site safety brief, make sure everybody knows what they're doing through the day, make sure we do our swims and also, of course, our toolbox. And then we actually get ready and go out in the field.
But typically the day could be, like we did a job at Delamere last year where we were clearing 14 kilometres of track, and that's fairly intense with very, very hot temperatures. And another one in a remote area, we've just completed the start of that particular job down in South Australia on the protected area or prohibited area, which is a big World War II and current rocket testing range. So we dug the test pits down to bedrock, cleared out whatever was in the hole, just to identify the scope of the problem, all up to our current job where we're dealing with vegetation anywhere between waist and 2 metres high, very, very thick and difficult to work in, and obviously very, very wet underfoot as a result of all the recent rain we've had.
So depending on the client's requirement, whether it's a visual search down to a deep search, will depend on which sort of technology we select for the task.
So if we're doing a shallow search, we've got two types of metal detector we can use, and these are military grade or military specification items. It's called the F3. This one's the standard version. The newer version is called the F3 Compact, and this thing folds up to effectively the size of the control unit, which is great when we travel, and we do plenty of that.
So it works within the Defence Division, takes us pretty much all around Australia, and we do some works overseas, such places as Lae. Wayne?
Yeah, back in 2019, Shane and I had the opportunity to do about a 3-month job up in Lae in Papua New Guinea. We were clearing a track up past Nadzab. Nadzab's about 40 kilometres north of Lae, and during World War II it was a pretty busy area. There was 5 airstrips in that particular area, so busy place.
We've also conducted several tasks in the Solomons. One was just in the assistance of rebuilding a wharf, and the second one was run by one of the other guys, and that was actually clearing a route up over the mountains where they actually recovered quite a few pieces of ordnance and UXO. Right, depending on where we are and what tasks we're conducting, some of the items we may come across is items such as this. This is an M2 canister round, so basically a rather large shotgun round.
We can also find hand grenades, and these are legacy type hand grenades from World War II, so they were in use by the British and Australians, but actually an Australian developed item.
Another item here, this is an anti-tank weapon, so it's a projected infantry anti-tank weapon. So it has a shaped charge. We recovered this one here.
Another one we find lots of are small 2-inch mortars. These are obviously proliferated in Australia. They're a United Kingdom and Australian item. But there's plenty around Australia all over the place.
Another item we find a lot of over here, this is a practice one, however, this is an M28 rocket. So similar to the P I just looked at, normally it's got a tail on it, and it's an anti-tank weapon, so it's got a shaped charge designed to punch a hole in the tank.
Another early anti-tank type ammunition in Australia was a 6-pound round, or 6-pounder it was called. That's what it looks like ordinarily. Again, this is a practice version. And that's what we find when we dig them out of the ground. So comparison-wise, all ours is a big lump of steel with a little bit of a tracer element in the back.
Another variation of what we found, this is an 81mm mortar. It's a high explosive, we can tell by the front. It's definitely graded and partially explode, partially ripped it apart.
And we do find some funny stuff every now and then. This is an American round, so it's called a 37mm M63. This is a high explosive round. This one's empty, obviously there's nothing inside. But we found it quite unexpected.